what truly sustains a human being? Most of us would probably answer with things like food, water, shelter, or security. But what if there is another kind of sustenance? What if the spirit itself requires nourishment? Chapter 52 of Haft al-Shareef begins with a question. Al-Mufaddal asks about a verse of the Quran that speaks of sustenance being determined in 4 days without distinction for those who ask. At first glance the verse seems straightforward, but the explanation that follows takes the discussion in a very different direction. According to the text, Imam Jafar al-Sadiq explains that the sustenance mentioned in the verse is not material sustenance. It is knowledge, not knowledge in the ordinary sense of facts and information. Rather, it is spiritual knowledge, the kind of knowledge that gives life to the soul. As I reflect on this idea, I find myself thinking about the difference between surviving and truly living. Food may keep the body alive, but what guides a person's purpose? What illuminates their path? What helps them distinguish truth from falsehood? The text answers these questions with a single image, light. Again and again, the chapter connects knowledge with light. It suggests that knowledge is to the spirit what sunlight is to the eyes. Without light, we struggle to see where we are going. Without knowledge, we struggle to understand who we are. Pause for a moment and consider your own life. Can you remember a lesson that changed your perspective? A piece of wisdom that helped you see things differently? Perhaps that experience can help us understand what this chapter means by spiritual sustenance. The discussion then turns to another mystery. What are the 4 days mentioned in the verse? The interpretation given in this text is symbolic. The 4 days are identified with 4 revered figures: Muhammad, Ali, Al-Hassan, and Al-Hussein. According to the chapter, these figures represent sources of divine guidance and illumination. The text is not speaking about ordinary days measured by clocks and calendars. Instead, it presents the days as symbols connected to spiritual reality. Whether one approaches this interpretation historically, spiritually, or symbolically, the central theme remains consistent. Guidance is portrayed as a light that reaches human beings through chosen channels. The chapter continues by describing how every spirit receives a portion of this light of knowledge. Through that light, a person comes to understand goodness. Through that light, a person becomes capable of recognizing the path toward God. Through that light, a person gains spiritual awareness. I find the imagery striking. A lamp does not force anyone to walk, it simply reveals the path. The choice of direction still belongs to the traveler. In the same way, knowledge may illuminate possibilities, but each person must decide how to respond. The text then introduces a contrast. It speaks of those who embrace this light and those who reject it. According to the chapter, those who turn away from guidance deprive themselves of spiritual understanding. To reinforce this point, the text cites Quranic verses that ask whether people sincerely seek understanding or whether their hearts have become closed. This raises an important question. What does it mean for a heart to be open? Perhaps it means remaining willing to learn. Perhaps it means recognizing that wisdom can come from unexpected places. Perhaps it means approaching truth with humility rather than certainty. The chapter seems to suggest that spiritual blindness is not simply a lack of information, it is a refusal to receive illumination. As I think about this, I wonder how often we overlook opportunities to learn because we assume we already know enough. How often do we stop asking questions? How often do we close doors that could have led to deeper understanding? The image of light continues to resonate throughout the chapter. Light reveals, light guides, light transforms confusion into clarity. And knowledge, according to this text, performs the same function within the human spirit. As the chapter draws to a close, its central message becomes clear. Human beings require more than physical nourishment. The spirit also seeks sustenance. That sustenance is described here as knowledge, a knowledge that illuminates the path, a knowledge that nurtures understanding, a knowledge that helps a person know their Lord and their purpose. Whether one reads this chapter as theology, symbolism, or spiritual reflection, it leaves us with an enduring question: what truly nourishes the soul? Each of us must answer that question for ourselves, and perhaps the search for that answer is itself part of the journey toward the light.